Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, we're going back down to Antarctica, a fascinating, very mysterious place on planet Earth. And there are some people that are very experienced explorers of Antarctica. I get photos from people all the time. In fact, these are a few of the interesting finds I'm going to share with you in this video. We've got a mysterious vent. It's not so much the vent, it's the things around the vent. Got this square here. I've got a couple of other places I want to take you guys. And then I've got some other ones that we're going to do in another video, and we'll get to that later on next week. Also have a fascinating sky phenomena slideshow I think you guys are really going to enjoy. But first I want to take a look at this mysterious vent. And like I said, it's not the vent so much itself, it's what's like in the vent and around the vent. This was shared with me by Elizabeth, and this is just a little slideshow I put together using different color techniques and lighting techniques to show different aspects around this vent. And there's a couple of things here, up here I want you to pay close attention to, and then right down here. This may be nothing at all, but at times this looks like a little outpost right there that has a flag on top of it, of all things. But you don't see any type of roads or tracks in the snow or ice, no evidence of airplane traffic, nothing. I mean, it's very, very remote. There's a perfect black square right there in the center underneath the ice. This right here, see what I mean? It looks like it's got a flag on the top of it. Here it is in yet another format. There's a couple of things right here casting shadows on the ground. Something up there at the top, don't know what it is. Look at that, looks like let me stop it for a second. See how it looks like it's got a flag on top of it? I'll go back down to it in a second. Here's that big square underneath the ice. Very, very interesting. Don't know if that's some sort of antenna array. Have no idea why there'd be a perfect square underneath the ice inside of a vent down in Antarctica that's thawing out. And you can also tell that there's warm air, warm cold air exchange by the frost buildup, if you will, for lack of a better word. It's just thick ice, but there's frost on the edges of this vent that tells us that there's warm air and cold air coming in and out of that vent. Right there's a shadow. There's something kind of tall at the corner of that 60-foot tall square. That's as tall, or at least long, as a 60-story or a 6-story building. It's 60 feet long. And then we've got another square here. There's the longitude and latitude of this location. We're going to come back to that here in a minute. That was sent in by Nick. Here's the location of the vent that I just showed you on Google Earth. See the frost around the edges? That tells us that there is air coming in and out of that that's warmer and colder. There's the square. Don't know what that is. There's something like a big monitor. Maybe it's just a chunk of ice right there. This one right here almost looks robotic. Under certain lighting and color techniques, you can tell that it doesn't seem to be made out of ice. It almost acts like it's made out of metal. There's something right there that looks like a monitor. There's one over there. And then this one down here, that if you look at it from the right angle, it looks like a tent with a flag on top of it. But there's no traffic of any type of tires or airplane traffic that leaves, tire tracks in the snow, ice, or even the soil. I've seen that before in different places. No signs of human activity anywhere, but there does appear to be signs of human activity in different places. Maybe it's from a long time ago. This area here, that little tent, if you will, or outpost or whatever it may be, it's 20 foot, 19.1, actually 20 foot long, and then if you go wide, 10 foot wide and 20 foot long. So that's a typical size of a small tent, and it does look like it's got a flag on top of it. Just super weird. And it's a pretty good sized vent. We'll measure the vent from top to bottom. 576 feet long, 340 feet wide. And I don't know how deep it is. Looks rather deep, but I found the square right there interesting. Looks like something there is monitoring this whole area. Don't know why though. That's the mystery. Why would this place here be so interesting opposed to any other place? That looks like the frosty part of the edge of a freezer. If you leave the door open and the cold air and warm air where they meet, it leaves frost on the edge of the freezer. That's what that reminds me of. And that tells us that there's warm air coming out of that location. So that was sent in by Elizabeth. Elizabeth can find the mysterious things down in Antarctica. She has shared several different things with me from this location. I think this one here, here you go. Here's a prime example. Like I was talking about over there at the vent, you can look for tire tracks, airplane tracks. In fact, there's an old airplane right there, and you can see signs of activity. You saw no signs of activity over there by that vent whatsoever. That's just an example of activity right there. And then out here, there's an actual base that they're working out here. Look, that looks like a radar station. Don't know exactly what they're doing here, but there's helicopter pads, obviously vehicle tire tracks in the snow and on the soil, so you can definitely tell that there's human activity over there. Unlike the vent, you can't tell anything at all. Here's another, what appears to be a vent of some sort. This also was sent in by Elizabeth, and it's right here on the edge of the ice shelf. Look at that. That's huge. In fact, let's measure it. I don't know how big it is, but it looks big. 400 feet across. And then lengthwise, 400 feet long. So 400 by 400. That's as long and as wide as a football field. So good find there once again by Elizabeth. Right there's the location. And if you want the coordinates for that location, 65, 51, 42 south, 53, 49, 53 east. Got some other areas I want to show you guys. I want to show you that square that was sent in by Nick, that kind of sitting out in the middle of the water. Actually, it seems to be offshore. Yeah, here we go. Okay, here's the building square, that very large square that Nick found, and let's take a look at the dimensions of this particular square. We're going to start at the top, measure down. Might have to start over. Sometimes you have to refresh it. There we go. So from top to bottom, wow, nearly 2,000 feet. Unbelievable. I didn't think it was that big. Whoa. And then wide, it's probably pretty close to the same, huh? Nearly 1,900 feet wide. That's bigger than I thought. Let's measure it in yards. 613 yards long. That's 6 football fields. Wow. That thing is humongous. So very large, very symmetrical, what looks like a building. There's something over there that looks kind of like a triangle. Could be a random piece of ice. This also could be a random piece of ice, I suppose, with perfect 90-degree angles. Don't know. It's kind of offshore. Maybe it is some sort of a building, but that is huge. 600 yards long, and I think that would be around 500 yards wide. Let's take a look and see. Over 600 yards wide. Wow. Very impressive. Good find, Nick. Thanks for sharing. Coordinates for the big piece of square ice, if that's what it is, or a building, that would be 70, 16, 15 south, 2, 57, 54 west. So I think those are most of the vents that I wanted to show you guys. There's some other things too that we wanted to take a look at in closer detail, and we'll come back to those. Always interesting finds down here in Antarctica. You guys find some of the neatest things. Here's something here that looks like a disc in the snow and ice. Let me go back to that location. I believe we are looking at an area right in. Here's this disc. Check this out, if that's what it is. It doesn't look like a normal rock. It's kind of got a shiny side to it. Could be just the snow and ice, I don't know. But it looks like half of a disc in the snow and ice. And I put together a little slideshow of different still images from the area. We're just calling it a disc that's stuck in the ice. And there I've just darkened the disc or whatever it is up. And you can see it's got a fairly round edge to it. Definitely doesn't look like snow or ice. It's something different. Here it is completely inverted. And don't know. It could be a rock, I suppose. But it's just kind of out there all by itself. Nothing else in the area except that. Usually when the rocks start to push up through the ice and snow, they come in clusters, not just one by itself. And then that one there is shaped like a half of a potato chip or something. I don't know. It looks like a disc. That location is 7341 10 south, 6638 5 east. So not a big deal, but could be some sort of a disc or something in the snow. Difficult to tell. Very small, but it's very, very remote out here behind this big area that's shaped like a big triangle. And you can see these rocks coming up through the snow and ice. There's several of them, and none of them are shaped like a disc, and you've got that one out there all by itself. So it's a long shot, but who knows? Maybe it is some sort of a flying machine that landed in the snow and ice of Antarctica. We're going to take a look at the new pictures that have been sent in here recently, and I'm working on many, many more, guys. Evelyn from Dickinson, North Dakota. Look at these halos around the sun. Absolutely incredible. Great job. Above the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Africa, Adriana looking out the window at these spectacular clouds at about 40,000 feet. Look at those clouds, would you? She was compelled to take a picture of them because of their very unusual shapes. Nice job. Keep the photos coming, guys. Michael F. 3 rainbows. Not exactly sure of the location, but great observation. Casey J. What looks like a linear type of a hole punch cloud in the sky. And there's a hole punch cloud here with what looks like a meteor trail or something. Amilo out of New Mexico. Got an unusual cloud here. Do you recognize that yet? Here's a full view of that cloud, and it looks just like one of the Easter Island statues in the sky above New Mexico. Great photos, Amilo. Amilo R out of New Mexico. Joan, St. Petersburg, Florida. Huge dark beam coming up over the horizon. Jonathan K. Another big halo up in the sky around the sun. Catherine Z of some very low riding shelf clouds in the sky. Those look like roll clouds. Kelly B from Gilbert, Arizona. Yet another halo around the sun. Ken J out of Blackpool, United Kingdom. You just can't get much redder than that. That is an absolutely incredible sunrise. Look at that. The skies have been really putting on a show here lately, especially over in the United Kingdom. Kristen out of Bel Air, Maryland. Very dark, actually light pink or dark purple skies. Buffalo, New York. Mark noticed what looked like a big donut cloud sitting on the ground. Michelle out of San Diego, California. Big beams coming up over the horizon. Here's some dark beams behind these clouds out of Boynton Beach, Florida, sent in by Patrick. Here we've got a triangle around the sun in broad daylight. Ronald, Southeast Michigan. Been seeing the moon inside of triangles, now the sun as well. Lima, Ohio. Matt B. of a spectacular double-decker roll cloud. Matt Mo out of France. Huge orange cloud in the sky that part of it looks like a computer chip. Look at that. Just incredible. Another photo here by Matt, what looks like a dual sun. How about that? Philippines, Tom M. Very unusual clouds in the sky above the Philippines. Not only one photograph, but 2 photographs of unusual clouds. And then they were lucky enough to see the total solar eclipse back a few weeks ago. Beautiful photographs. Once again by Tom out of the Philippines. Absolutely beautiful. Great job. He also noticed 3 rainbows himself down around, look at that. There's 1, 2, 3. Looking out towards one of the volcanoes, I think. He noticed 3 rainbows like Michael did. Kentucky, Rob U. Looks like gravity waves up in the sky. Here's a super pink and light purple sunrise. Orange cloud up behind some gray clouds that looks like it's a roll cloud of some sort. Flagstaff, Arizona. Paula C. Spectacular sunrise. McKay, Queensland. Darren W. Look at that. Big rainbow shaft sitting above Queensland. Actually sitting above McKay. Just a beautiful photo. That's what you call a hallmark moment. Great photos, guys, and like I said earlier, I'm working on many more. Got a ton of emails lately. If you guys have any photos you'd like to share, you can send those to reports at mrmbb333.com. All of the photos end up here at the Sky Phenomena Photo Gallery. Sometimes I use the photos in a picture slideshow, just like you saw right here. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there.